So in this video, I will be showing you how to factor when a is greater than 1. So looking at my first problem here, I have an a value, or my first term, that is greater than 1. And I'm going to start by multiplying that by my last term and creating my usual t-chart. So 2 times -3 is going to get me -6. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to get me -6. And looking at my middle term, technically there is a 1 here. We just don't usually write it in because if I'm looking at this problem, I only see 1x. So I don't really need to put the 1 there, but if that makes you feel better, you can. So there is a 1 that exists there, so that goes here. And I'm looking for two numbers that add up to get me 1. This is very similar to my last video, which was dealing with factoring when a is equal to 1. And again, same idea with the t-chart. So I'm going to start with my 6, again, ignoring the fact that there's a negative there. And I'm going to find out what is going to multiply to get me that 6. So I have 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Now I can take into account the fact that there is a negative there. So one of my numbers is going to have to be negative. To deal with my 1 and 6 first, there is no possible combination of adding or with the negative subtracting to get me a 1. But with 2 and 3, there is. Now, in order to have them add up or combine to get me 1, I need to have my 2 be the negative. And so that is going to work. 3 minus 2 is 1, and 3 times -2 is -6. Now, my middle term is going to be split up into -2x and 3x. And the reason for that is because if I combine -2x and 3x, I get 1x. So we're going to split those up. I have my original 2x squared and the -3 at the end. And I'm going to go ahead and place the -2x and 3x in there. Now, it doesn't matter the order. I could do 3x here and -2x here, or I could flip-flop them. And myself, I prefer, because I'm going to be grouping and then factoring something out, I prefer to have it this way, but you'll get the same answer either way. So now because I have 4 terms here, I'm going to group the first 2 and group the second 2. And now I'm going to go ahead and factor out whatever they have in common. So I have a 2 and a 2. So I'm going to pull out a 2. And I also have a x and an x here. So I'm going to pull out an x. And when I do that, technically I'm dividing both of these parts by 2x. So I end up with 2x squared divided by 2x is x. And I also have a 2x divided by 2x is 1. Now looking at the second set of parentheses, I'm going to do the same exact thing. And in the end, my answer in here in the parentheses should equal this in the parentheses as well. So I'm going to go ahead and factor out. I see that we both have 3s, so I'm going to pull out a 3. And when I do that, again, that's the same thing as dividing out a 3. I get x minus 1. And I see that they are the same, so I did it correctly. So my final answer now, which again we will have 2 sets of parentheses, is going to be the x minus 1, which we had already found was the same. And your second parentheses is going to be 2x plus 3. And that should always work for your sets of parentheses. You find the 2 that you have in common, they become the 1 parentheses, and then we factored out is going to become the second set. And if you're not sure if you did it correctly, you can always go ahead and either FOIL method or box method to distribute and make sure that when you do that, you end up back where you started.